I can hear the old school coaches watching this video right now and saying, generate home buyer and seller leads fast without prospecting. You are full of shit. We are on episode, Bob, what are we? 37. Let's have a chat about generating leads. Actually, it's kind of funny, quick story. I was on YouTube today, actually about a half hour ago. I keep pointing here like you guys can see my computer. There, that's my computer. So I was on YouTube and I was watching this coach. I like to call him old school coach because you can usually tell them apart. Old school is all about just picking up the phone and cranking up the cold calls. He, in that video, said if you want to be the number one real estate agent by the end of the year, you got to crank out hundreds of cold calls a day. He's like, just pick up the phone and just start calling. And so I was watching another one of his videos today, and here's the interesting part. He actually said cold calling is working less and less and less. You saw the video, right, Bob? I mean, you watched it with me. He says call, and then today he says it's not working. Make up your mind. Which is it? I don't know what to make of it. I'm not gonna knock the guy down. He's trying to make a living. So before I explain how to do that, I have to explain a concept to you. So the concept is branding versus direct response marketing. So branding type of marketing, it's look at me type of marketing. Direct response marketing is what can I do for you? So they're both completely very different animals altogether. And I can see a lot of agents in the real estate industry want to use branding type marketing, but they expect quick results. That's not the way it works. Big companies with big budgets use branding type of marketing because they have a different agenda. You can't turn on a sporting event without seeing their logo everywhere, or like Pepsi. They will sponsor NFL games. I think I've seen, Pepsi was on Super Bowl. Every other commercial is Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. That requires a mad amount of money. You have to have a huge budget for that. So these mega teams, they will pull out half a page ads or full page ads in the local newspaper, often costing them hundreds of dollars to do that. And what I see happening out there with agents that try to use branding type of marketing is they run out of money really quickly. There was an agent here where I live a few years ago, and he spent $1,500 for a half page ad in the local newspaper every single week. $1,500. And he's the type of agent that would run with 1, 2, maybe 3 listings, but he wanted to make himself look big. So again, he did the ego play. Here he is with this half page ad with 1, 2, or 3 listings, depending on what he had at that time. And he ran this every single week. His picture on the top left, right next to a team that's got 30 listings, okay? Like they have the budget. He didn't. It's $1,500. He continued that for, I think it was about 7 or 8 months. He ran out of money. It was that simple because he thought, well, if big companies are doing it, if these big teams are doing it, it has to work, right? No, it doesn't have to work. In fact, it doesn't work. It backfires because now he's broke. That type of marketing is only possible when you have a business that's already built up and you have a budget. Don't start branding until you've got money. Okay, so let me explain the direct response. Direct response marketing is what's going to generate home buyer and seller leads really fast without prospecting. But let me explain to you what direct response marketing is first. So direct response marketing, to put it simply, is an exchange of information. You're giving somebody value very quickly they can use in that moment in exchange for their contact info. So the quickest way to start using direct response marketing is by having a landing page or a squeeze page. It means the same thing online. And you say, hey, would you like this information? Put in your email, and now that becomes your lead. And you drive traffic to that landing page with Facebook ads. Here's the difference. Branding is look at me, and you need large amounts of money to get people's attention, and it's a long play. Direct response marketing is exactly that, direct response. When people go on that page, they have to respond. And nowhere on that page is an ego play. It's not your picture on the top left. It's not a cheesy slogan. You're literally giving them valuable information that they need in that moment. Let me explain the benefits of direct response marketing. So let me share with you what it requires to run a landing page. I'll share with you what it needs and some of the benefits. Number one, it's trackable. So if you've got multiple landing pages, you can keep track of all of them and see what's happening. Number two, it's measurable. You can see this one is performing at 25% opt-in rate, meaning 25% or 1 out of 4 people that land on that page or see that page are leaving their contact info. And maybe on this one, only 5%. So you can see which one's working better. Number 3, it uses compelling headlines and strong sales copy. And that's the difference. It's not a cheesy slogan. It doesn't have your photo. You have to compel somebody to leave their contact, which means you have to give them what they want. Number 4, and this is the part that I think most agents miss. It targets a specific audience or an avatar or a niche. And this is where I see marketing completely fall apart in the real estate industry, because we want to be everything to everyone. We want to be a Walmart and say, yes, I can do that. If you're trying to be everything to everyone, you're really nothing to anyone. If you have to have brain surgery, are you going to go to a general practitioner? No, you're going to look for the best brain surgeon. So you have to pick a niche, and your message has to speak directly to that target audience in their language, solving their problem. Number 5, it makes a special offer. You can't make an offer that's too generic. You have to make it very targeted. If you're talking to first-time buyers, your landing page has to speak to first-time buyers in their language. If you're selling cottage properties, your landing page better speak to the owners of cottage properties. Give that person something of value that is targeted for cottage owners. If a first-time buyer comes across a direct response landing page and it says, I will show you how to sell your lakefront property, do you think they're going to opt in? No, they don't have a property. They're first-time buyers. So you have to be very specific. Don't be everything to everyone, because you're going to get 0 results. Talk to a specific niche. And the coolest part, number 6. And the coolest part is it actually requires a response. When you go on somebody's website and you see homepage, about me, information, it's kind of like walking into a store. You've got selection. The more selection somebody gives me, the harder it is for me to make a decision, to make a choice. You bring me to a place that has 27 ice cream flavors, I'm there for a half hour trying to decide. I'm still not as bad as my wife. She takes like 45 minutes to decide. Can I try this one? Can I try that one next? Ooh, that one's good. Can I try that one? That's what happens when you give people choices. And that's why typical websites are not really good for generating leads. Everyone has 2 choices. When you see a landing page, you can either opt in or you X out, and that's it. You get one shot. There are no menus. Your picture isn't there with the teased 80s haircut. You don't have any cheesy slogans. You leave your info or you don't. So let's go back to how to generate buyer or seller leads fast. Well, first of all, you have to know who your client is. And when I say, do you want to work with a buyer? Do you want to work with a seller? The answer isn't yes. Pick one. Then you have to know, what is that person's problem? What challenges are they facing right now as a buyer or a seller in their specific situation? Put a list together. And then you tackle one of those and you fix that problem. You could put a report together that speaks to that problem. Then you put a landing page together and say, would you like me to show you how to, for example, buy your first home without any stress or headache? Well, that obviously speaks to a first-time buyer. So when you target first-time buyers with your ads, they see that landing page, put in their email, they get the report, now you have a lead, and you've given them something of value, which now gives you credibility. Does that make sense? So when you have your landing page together, you go to Facebook, you target that specific demographic, geographical area, and you run Facebook ads to that group, to that one client with that one specific problem. And you say, hey, if you want me to show you how to, and then you solve a problem, click here. When they click there, they go on your landing page. Now you've got yourself a lead. They wanted this information. So create a report that is easy to understand, make it very short. Solve their problem. That's how you generate a buyer or a seller lead without any prospecting. Because your marketing, if done correctly, is doing all the heavy lifting for you. And it's only going to cost you a fraction of what a bus bench would cost, or a big billboard, or half-page ad in the paper. And you can track it. You can be very strategic. And when you target a specific customer, the response is going to be much higher. Don't be everything to everyone. Don't do branding type of marketing, especially when your budget's like this big. And let's face it, in this industry, it's much easier to spend money than it is to make money. So when you've got little to spend it wisely. Remember, direct response marketing is not about you or how good you are, or how good of a salesperson you are, or the fact that you could sell a home quicker for more money. That's not what direct response marketing is. In fact, direct response marketing has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with your customer. What do you think, Bob? Good, right? Bob liked it. Okay, so I think I'll stop my vlog here. Let me just remind you, if you click like, subscribe, and that bell button, my videos will show up on your YouTube feed. And that's always a good thing, right? Right? Okay, so we'll chat tomorrow. Have an awesome day.